Sort of the Story.
Oh, I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
And we're facing each other.
We have 2 microphones, so now we can sit on opposite sides of the table, like we're doing an interview.
What is that
Janey,
about?
Tell me about a time that you overcame an antagonistic situation in the workplace.
No, and don't ask me that again. You bitch. I'm the antagonistic one.
It's true.
Guys, this is the podcast where we tell each other stories, like fairy tales and folk tales and mythology. And sometimes I tell stories about my old devil bird. And Max tells stories about how she used to want to be a preacher.
Only that one time.
Yeah, but you know what? It was lasting in the hearts and minds.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, welcome. We hope you guys are having a wonderful winter. It's raining here.
And it's gross.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's cold and raining, not snowing.
This is our last episode. We don't usually do record episodes.
Whoa, it's not our last episode.
This is our
don't
last
panic.
episode of the year that we're recording. We don't usually record episodes in the middle of the week, but Max and I are both leaving. We're going to be separated for like 4 days.
Oh my God, it's going to be torture.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do with ourselves?
I don't know. Sleep.
Perish.
Die in the snow. We're both going to relatively snowy places, so.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go visit my family in the Adirondacks in upstate New York, and I'm going to sit in front of a fire, and that's the whole story.
Oh my God, that sounds so good. I'm going to go visit my family in Virginia. Probably won't sit in front of a fire. I don't think they have that over there. I don't think Virginia's invented fire. And I'm also really excited for them to discover Rihanna.
I love the idea of Virginia being like a pre-Promethean state.
There's just a bunch of hot dummies over there.
That's not true. I grew up in Virginia, and the people
were
there
very
are
smart.
not that hot.
You were hot and smart. Well, with that, in other news, today is my grandmother's birthday. I don't know how old she would have been. She was born in 1927. Do the math.
Don't tell me to do the math.
She died at 92.
96.
She would have been 96 years old. Oh my God. Spring chicken. Max looks like she's not confident in that number.
I was, and then I did it again, and I got the same answer, but I'm still not sure.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. 7 and 2 shouldn't make 6.
They don't. 7 minus
they
1 makes
sex.
6.
Yeah, so thinking about my grandma today and the little people. And so if you are somebody who leaves stuff out for the fairies, leave something out for my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure they know it's a one-time thing, because otherwise they will be pissed. And they'll haunt you. Like, we're pretty sure they haunted us.
So, happy birthday, Grandmommy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the sweetest people I've ever met.
Yeah, she loved Max so immediately. That was just her. My grandma was the type of person. She was very small. She was like 4'2". Mm-hmm. Like, she wore children's shoes and was just the cutest little Filipino woman you've ever seen. And one time I was sitting like the couple months before she died, she came to visit in Savannah, and I went to lunch with her and my aunts. And as the waiter, like, she was really tired. She was in a wheelchair all the time at that point. She just seemed exhausted. And as the waiter came, this is like young guy who was giving us like all the specials and stuff. She just casually reached out and grabbed his hand and held his hand for the duration of him giving the specials. And I've never seen a man like, oh, hi. There's the soup of the like, he did not know how to handle it, and then he just like held her hand for a little more, and we were like, oh, you've been blessed. Goodbye.
Yes.
She also held the hands of the people who came to take her in the ambulance when she had a heart attack.
Oh,
and they cried. They were like, oh, you're gonna be okay. Oh God, Julia. And we're like, Grandmommy. And they're like, Grandmommy, you're gonna be okay. They loved her so much.
I met Grandmommy once, and for those who don't know, I'm 6 feet tall.
And she has short blonde hair.
Yes.
This is important to know too.
At the time. Yeah, I had short, like, white blonde hair.
Yeah.
And I went to go visit her with Janey, and she was like, oh, Max, it's so good to meet you. You guys look just like twins.
She goes, they look just like twins. Like I can't do the accent, but in her super thick Filipino accent. And we were like, oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, are you super blind now? Like,
yeah.
What's happening, Grandmommy?
She was the absolute sweetest, and I feel like a massive person at most times, because factually I am. But I've never felt bigger than when Grandmommy came and gave me a hug, and she was just fully, like, under my boots. Okay. This is so nice, and I am so self-conscious.
So one more grandmommy story, which is my favorite. Little memories. When my cousin was getting married, we were like, Grandmommy, you need to go get shoes. And so she went to the store and she was like looking for shoes, and she came back and we had said like, you know, get like nice shoes for a wedding. And she came back with little clear like jelly heels. And I was like, Grandmommy, are those little girls' heels? And she goes, yes. And then she stops and goes, and look. And she stomped her foot and they started lighting up.
Oh my
It's
God.
like, Grandmommy, these are the best shoes ever.
That's the only wedding shoes.
I
that
want
believe
those.
in.
I want those. That's what I want. If anybody wants to donate to sort of the story, get me light up jelly heels. Thank you.
Me as well.
Yeah. Sorry. Get us both light up jelly heels so we can cosplay as my grandma. Cool. Well, Max, with all of that sentimental little story time, do you want to just get started?
I do. I believe you're first this week.
I am first. Oh, before we do that, join us in the Discord.
Yeah. All of our social links on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and our pages on Goodreads and bookshop.org and everything. You can find all those on our website at www.sortofthestory.com.
How exciting.
And you can come join us on Discord, where we all hang out and do fun things.
It's so fun over there.
Yeah. Right now, I'm conditioning a vintage leather jacket, and I'm sending them progress pics.
Yeah.
So
And
if
every
that's
once in
something
a
you're
while, we aggressively make fun of each other and we force the listeners to pick sides.
That's true.
It is just like a little, it's like a group text with all of our best friends who we don't know. And also, I only say we don't know because they've changed their names to things that we said on the podcast, and I have no idea who these people are anymore. Like, I feel like I would have, like, there's somebody named Gainfully Married, and that one makes me laugh every time, but I have no idea who it is.
Yeah. Same.
Juicy Wizard came onto my, I don't know if that's something we said on the podcast. It sounds like you. It
No.
sounds like something you would have said. You don't sound like a Juicy Wizard.
Rude.
They came onto my live the other day and they were like, hey, it's Juicy Wizard. And I was like, oh.
Don't you just love it when you receive a surprise Juicy Wizard?
I kind of did. Remember Santa came onto my live that one time and told me he was proud of me.
That's the juiciest wizard there is.
I think that's like the ultimate Juicy Wizard. I cried a little. Thank you, Santa. Okay, yeah, I'm first. Are you ready?
Yeah. Do it.
Fine. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janey.
Max. Okay. Today, I am going to tell you a story from this book that I got called Folktales of the Maori. I'm going to hand it over to you. It's pretty
Ooh.
cute.
Very beautiful.
So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this book later, but I feel like New Zealand is so small in comparison to all the other places we tell stories about. So we haven't actually hit New Zealand yet. And the Maori are really, really interesting, but I know very little about them. So that's not going to change too much here, except I'm going to tell you a wild fucking story that I can never predict what was going to happen from one moment to the next. And I greatly enjoyed it.
New Zealand isn't that small. It's
In
pretty
comparison,
big.
in comparison to the other places that we talk about, I don't think so. Like, we never hit, like, New Zealand. Like, it seems, like, isolated by itself, you know?
Oh, I was going to say, like, the British Isles, you could fit, like, 20 of them in New Zealand. And we told so many stories from there.
We have. You are right. That is my bad, and I take
No, that's
it
also
back.
my bad.
I am so sorry, everyone. So I'm really excited about telling the story, and I'll talk about the author Alfred Grace at the end. But this story, Max, I need you to know I'm not making up any single part of this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The story is called The Beautiful Bad Girl and the Shadow.
I think I wrote an OC self-insert fanfiction
Oh
with
my
that
God,
title.
me
When I was in
too.
middle school.
I only thought about it. Okay. There once was a beautiful bad girl,
Ooh, naughty.
and her name was the Beautiful Bad Girl, hereby known
Appropriate.
as the BBG. There's
Isn't
no
this that Roald Dahl book?
Yeah, the BBG. That would be such a different book.
Oh, wait. BBG, Brazilian butt griff.
Grift?
Yeah.
She had a Brazilian butt grift. Okay, so the BBG. There's no explanation for why she's called the Beautiful Bad Girl, except that the story makes a note to say most people thought she was more beautiful than she was bad. A little hotter than she was terrible.
Honestly, that's the best you can hope for.
And that's me. She's really bad at things, but she's pretty.
Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Janey, so pretty. So stupid.
Oh my God, we have to stop already. So when I was in my first year of learning Chinese, I had a teacher who fucking hated me for no reason. I was such a good student. I had the top grades in that class every time. I studied so much, but she fucking hated me. And every time we'd say something, she'd walk by and go, "Oh, Janey, so pretty. Oh, so stupid." And like she'd pat my head and I was like, did she just call me stupid? That was in English. And then she would say it in Chinese. And so like the more I got into it, the more I was understanding what she was saying. And she was like, "Tai pan la." So stupid. Like, why?
It's become something that is so much a part of our common parlance that we will sometimes just say, like, someone will do something dumb and we'll just be like, "Oh, you're so pretty."
So pretty. So stupid. She also one time was trying to tell us how to use the word bang in Spanish, which is to help. And I was like, can you say
Spanish?
Nope, in Chinese. What a weird thing she would do. No, but she would try to tell us like, bang. And so I was like, can I say like, help me? Like, bang, well, can I say that? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, well, how would I use it? She goes, "Oh, so dumb. It would be more like you would say it if you would say, help, help. I don't have my hands." It's like, what? And I think about that every goddamn day. Help, help. I don't have my hands.
I hate it when that happens and I don't know how to say help, help in whatever language of the place that I'm at.
But also, I had asked her, can I use it like that? And then she basically said yes, but you can't. I don't know. She was so confusing.
It sounds like she's explaining that it's like what's it called? Oh, no. Not an expletive.
It's not an expletive.
But like not the verb. It's like a...
You wouldn't say like, help me. I don't know. I'm not giving you a Chinese lesson. I'm telling you a Maori story. And here we go.
I was so close.
Also, I'm definitely saying Maori way wrong. They pronounce all their vowels. And so the A is like ah, and the O is oh. It'd be like Maori, whatever. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to do it correctly. And it's just going to be me trying to like show off on this podcast. And I'm nothing if not showing off on this podcast. So just know I'm about to pronounce everything wrong. Okay. The BBG. She's beautiful. She bad.
And she's a girl.
One day, a very handsome young chief named the Shadow fell in love with her.
And that's the first thing that happened.
That's the first thing that happens in the story. He was enchanted by her beauty. He wanted really badly to marry her. So he started courting her. And everyone thought he would, like, get to marry her. But at the last possible minute, she just fucking fucked off to another island. And then started, like, a courtship with this guy named 8 Freckles. Okay, they also mentioned...
I'm not going to lie, that sounds like a downgrade.
Okay, that's what everyone else thought, too. Okay, so 8 Freckles had also proposed to her, and she just, like, ran away and into his arms. And for some undisclosed reason, she had chosen him. Like, we don't know why. And Alfred Grace says that nobody really had many expectations of a chief named 8 Freckles, and nobody could figure out why she would choose 8 Freckles over the Shadow. Everyone was like, he's so much hotter. What? But she did, for some reason. And I said, he's disappointing, because first of all, he only had 7 freckles, so what's the point of anything?
What the fuck?
I know. He doesn't. That part I did make up. Oh. More importantly, as soon as they got married, he started something. He was like, I want to implement a new policy. I think that we need to change in this village, like, we're going to start doing something called a cannibal orgy. What were you going to say?
I was going to say everyone has to start wearing sunscreen so that nobody else has any freckles.
Yeah.
I can be the only one with any freckles, like a Starbelly Sneetches kind of situation.
Yeah, and also I want to start a cannibal orgy.
Also
separate.
Sure.
And he just, like, ate up a bunch of her relatives.
Oh, what?
Yeah, like, they get married and then a bunch of her relatives get eaten. They got 8. So a year passes and BBG gives birth to a son, and his name is Te Nawe. But needless to say, the honeymoon phase was almost immediately over. She's no longer liking her choice. And she starts thinking more and more about the Shadow. It's like, what might my life have been had I stayed with the Shadow? And it turns out, luckily for her, Max, the Shadow was not just a chief. No. He was a Tahunga. And this is what the story says, quote, he was as deeply versed in spells and devilments as he was in diplomacy and war. He was a juicy wizard. super hot. Just like a hot chief named the Shadow. And he like is like well versed in spells and devilments. Come on. And he's smart.
I feel like I'm pretty brushed up on my spells, but I'm a little rusty on my devilments.
See, I would say the opposite. I'm really good at devilments and I don't know how to spell. HAOT. Hot. BBG thought more and more, and in what the story says, quote, will never be explained. The more she thought about him, the more he was summoned. So he shows up one day. By the way, where they are is a P-A, called Rocky Shore, which I think that Pa might just be like their tribe or their village or their home. But it's called Rocky Shore. He brings all of his magic and his ill intentions with him, and he just shows up one day. But don't worry, he wasn't there for BBG. No. Beautiful bad girl, not the last thing on his mind. He doesn't even think about her anymore, don't worry. He's there for 8 freckles. Yeah.
Love triangle.
Yeah.
An actual love triangle.
So for etiquette's sake, 8 freckles had to host the crap out of this visiting chief. They had this huge reception, and they had amazing feasts, and there was entertainment, the works. And the Shadow was having a blast.
Sure.
And he was really famous on Rocky Shore because everyone thought he was amazing and hot, and they had heard about his magical talents. And it says, quote, to win that sort of fame was the Maori's deepest joy. And I'm like, same.
Yeah, for sure.
Relatable.
Also, every time you say Rocky Shore, I think of Jersey Shore.
Yeah, Jim Dan laundry.
Yeah.
Except not tan because nobody else can have any freckles. Jim sunscreen laundry. Okay, so the Shadow and 8 freckles were literally becoming best friends. They talked through the late hours of the night. They debated, they planned, they laughed. They developed a very close bond. They were bros. And that means something, Max. The Shadow had come to this island to suggest that the tribes become allies, and they discussed fishing rights, land rights, settled old feuds, they rehashed boundaries, they unraveled half-forgotten genealogies, they invented intertribal marriages, which sounds like a really fun board game to just invent intertribal marriages. Like, they're just matchmaking. Like, they're chiefs. And then one day, after all of this bonding, the Shadow suggests that they take a not romantic walk along the beach together.
At sunset?
Yeah, but it's not romantic because they're bros. Don't worry.
But they are holding hands, and each of them has a glass of white wine.
And a rose in their mouth? They're each just holding a rose in their mouth.
And they're both wearing the, like, chiffon beach cover-ups.
Yes, and the Shadow has a ring in his pocket, and little does he know, 8 freckles also has a ring in his pocket. What?
It's like those beautiful lesbians at Disney.
Yeah, it's just like those beautiful lesbians at Disney. This is just like that. Okay, so they sit on the rocky cliffs overlooking the ocean together, and they watch the tribe's canoes sway in the water, and they gaze out on the unbroken horizon, and they run their toes in the sand, and they sit in silence for a long time. And then 8 freckles starts to gradually start talking really excitedly about how great this alliance is going to be, and he tells the Shadow that together they would defeat other tribes, and they'd be famous, and they'd take fine fishing grounds for themselves, and they'd have forests full of fruit trees, and they'd be the greatest of great chiefs. That's a quote. The greatest of great. And then after a while, the Shadow starts to scratch his head vigorously. He's like, itchy, yeah, itchy. And it becomes kind of distracting. So 8 freckles is like, what's up, bro? What's wrong? And the Shadow says, I think I have got too many kutu, which I think is lice. I don't know. But he says, relieve me of them, my dear 8 freckles. These are 2 chiefs. I can't say this enough. These are 2 chiefs, and one of them has cannibal orgies. And so
power couple.
8 freckles is like, oh, bro, yes, absolutely. And he takes his bro's head lovingly in his hands, and he begins to pick these things out of his hair really gently and like run his fingers through his hair and stuff. They're friends. And when he was done, he said, I think I have them too. Me next. These are
only
chiefs. And so the Shadow takes 8 freckles' head and he puts it on his knee, and then he starts to pick out the lice. I assume it's lice. I should have looked that up, but you know what? Drink. I didn't. So
it's probably sand. You know what they say about sand.
Yeah, you have to have your friend lovingly pick it out. But his face is now turned away from the Shadow, which is good because it'd be really weird if his face was turned in towards the Shadow. I don't know. And 8 freckles doesn't notice that his friend, his bro, is silently chanting as he scratches his head.
Oh no.
Oh my god, I just realized it's basically Samson and Delilah. Okay.
Oh no.
Hey, the shadow says, oh, this is going to take a while. And as he's doing this, he pulls on his ear and his ear just keeps coming out. And eventually it's long and stretchy, like a floppy dog's ear. And he says, oh, that's one.
One what?
And then he pulls the other ear and he says, there we go, that's two. And now the guy just has dog ears. And then he pulls on his nose and his head becomes a dog's head. And eventually he runs his hand over his friend's sexy, sexy body and it becomes a dog's body. And now 8 Freckles is just like a happy, like grinning dog with a tongue flopping out. And he's like rolling all around and panting.
Man's best friend.
Oh.
Together forever.
Therapy. So
that's actually a really great way to get out the loophole about, you know, how if you do cannibal orgies, you're, you know, in the Christian canon, you're probably going to hell.
Maybe. But
it's a really good loophole because all dogs go to heaven.
And that is Christian canon.
You can commit any crimes you want and then just become a dog and get off scot-free.
Honestly. How nice of the shadow. He was like, bro, I got you.
And he's like, don't worry, I'll keep you safe from the Christian hell, I guess.
You know what?
That's a concern that we have.
That's the concern the Maoris have, for sure. Okay, so the shadow starts to like monologue like a true villain. He's like, I am such a great sorcerer. This was my plan all along. Everybody's going to come from far and near and they're going to travel to see what this great enchantment I have done. Ha ha ha.
They're going to come see King Dog.
And then he looks over. I'm so happy you said that. Because then as he's like doing this huge speech, he gets interrupted because 8 Freckles has run off to excitedly chase some seagulls. And he's like, and I am going to 8 Freckles. Woo wee, come back here. Whoa, hello, come on. And like, there's a whole speech in there where he's just calling a dog back. He says,
re-elect King Dog.
He says, quote, have you so soon forgotten your master? Have you forgotten your wife and son? Isn't it time to let them see that you are the Rangatira of the Kuri Maori, the chief of all the dogs? King of dogs.
King Dog.
They walk back up together and like the dog is like, you know how dogs do when they like look up at you as they're walking, like they're like grinning and their tongue is hanging out of their mouth and they're just so happy to be on the walk. That's what this dog is doing to the shadow. It loves him.
Aww.
And so they get to the tribe and the shadow like picks up a stone and he throws it and 8 Freckles, the dog, goes running after it. And he's like, ah, yay! And he like kind of, you know, gets far enough away. So then the shadow meets up with beautiful bad girl. He goes to her home, BBG, and she greets him. And then she's like, hey, didn't you leave with my husband? Where's my husband? And the shadow is like, oh, well, he must have come up here before me. I bet he's already here. And she's like, no, he didn't. You're the first one that came back. He didn't come back with you? And he's like, maybe he went for a walk. Maybe you should call him. Maybe he's nearby. And so she's like,
maybe
husband?
You should whistle a little bit.
You know how to whistle, don't you? And so she's like, husband? Hello? And he doesn't answer. And the shadow's like, maybe call him like he's a real good boy and you have a treat for him. What if you did that? And she's like, okay. Woo-wee, come on, good boy. Got a treat for you. And this like big goofy dog comes running up to her and she's like, oh. And she's like really happy because it's a nice dog. And she's like, whose dog is this? And the sorcerer is like, oh, I think that's your dog. And she's like, I don't have a dog. What? She's not getting it.
No.
And he says like, maybe try calling him by his name and see if he'll answer. And she's like, okay, what's his name? And he's like, it's 8 Freckles. It's your husband. It's 8 Freckles. And she's like, 8 Freckles? And the dog's like, yeah. Like rolls over and shows his belly. And she's like, wait a minute. Where's my husband? So she runs down to the beach. Beautiful bad girl doesn't have to be anything but beautiful and bad, Max. One of the things she's bad at doing is picking up clues. She's nailing it.
She's like, this dog must know something about my husband.
What are you trying to tell me, dog?
Is my husband stuck in the well?
Why is this dog wearing my wedding ring? My husband's wedding ring. Okay, so she runs down to the beach. She tracks 2 men's footprints in the sand until she goes to the cliffs where they sat on. And then she tries tracking them back, but now instead of 2 men's footprints, there's 1 man and 1 dog. And also maybe...
The dog ate her husband.
Also, what's that one thing that's like, if you see footprints in the sand, Jesus has you on his back or something?
Yeah, when you see 2 sets of footprints, Jesus is walking with you, and when you see only 1, it's because he was carrying you?
He's on your back.
Teaching you the ways of the Force.
He is a backpack. Anyway, so Jesus could have been there. We don't know. So she comes back, and with her hands on her hips, she starts to laugh. And she says, well, somebody has bewitched my husband. Very coyly. And I like the narrator says, he's like really... Alfred Grace gets like really kind of sad at this point because she's like, she's not doing the right thing. She's being bad. And so he says, quote,
if only there was some way we could have known that this would happen.
No. Why can't we have named her Beautiful Makes Grilled Cheese Girl? So he says, quote, I lament exceedingly to say that her opinion of the wicked wizard was immensely heightened. She's super turned on by the fact that he turned her husband into a dog.
In fairness,
he ate her family.
Husband kept doing cannibal orgies with her family. Which feels like 3 strikes in one sentence.
Pick one or the other, husband. Also, the story in the beginning mentions that he threw her little brother in jail. So, like, you know.
And then ate him?
I don't know.
And then ate him?
I don't know. And so, the last line of this, also, this is the last line, quote, of course, presently, the beautiful bad girl married the shadow. But I don't know what happened to the dog. The end.
King Dog.
King Dog. So here's the note. This man, Alfred Grace, he was born in 1867 in Auckland, New Zealand. This book was first published in 1907. So this is actually a really old, obviously my copy's not from 1907, but it's like a really old collection of stories. He was a New Zealand teacher, journalist, and writer, and he wrote a bunch of books about Maori history and folk tales, etc. Right? Like he's just really immersed in the culture. So I was like, it doesn't say outright that he was Maori, but he was from New Zealand and he was writing a bunch of stuff. So I'm like, what's the correlation? And so he actually spent most of his education in England. He moved there in 1875, and he wasn't Maori, but he was fascinated with the culture. And Wikipedia tells me that 2 of his brothers married Maori women, and his father was also interested in the culture. And a lot of this was like, he wrote a short story called Tales of a Dying Race. And so he was like, the Maori seems to be like getting smaller and smaller and the culture is dying out. So part of it was like, I need to help preserve this stuff. I'm a writer. I'm like trained. I'm kind of famous now. Like he was just trying to get out as many of these stories as possible, you know, to like preserve it. But also at the time, the big topic of debate was New Zealand gaining independence from Britain. And so the majority of New Zealanders wanted the independence. If you don't know, New Zealand was established as a crown colony in 1841.
I didn't know.
By 1907, he is writing all these books. And it's mainly because he's like, Maori life and culture as a topic is like the most different from England that you can possibly get. And he wanted to write books that showed a stark difference between England and New Zealand to like help people see that New Zealand needed to be its own sovereign nation. They didn't want to be under British rule anymore, which I think is pretty cool. Using folktales as a way to gain independence as a nation.
That's very cool.
Kind of awesome. And then the last thing, New Zealand would not achieve full independence, as in like complete autonomy and sovereign power over its own constitution and foreign affairs. It wouldn't really receive that until 1947. But that's what Alfred Grace was doing. And the book is kind of delightful. It's full of these just Maori stories I found out are kind of disjointed, and they just tell you, they're like, this just happened. I don't know what to tell you. And I won't even try. This just happened. He turned his best friend into a dog. The end.
Like, it just happened just now?
No.
Okay.
No, but like, this is just something that happened, so.
We've had a couple of different folkloric traditions where like they're like, and they lived happily ever after. Their thing is like, and I just came from that party, so you know it's true. Like
not a lot of the Scottish tales.
Yeah.
They're like, I was there.
Just now.
Just now. In fact, I'm there right now writing this in the coat closet. I'm writing while getting a blowjob. Bam! in that coat closet. Anyway, that's
from your mom.
That's the Maori story of the beautiful bad girl and the shadow. She was a baddie.
Bad gal Riri.
I can't wait for Virginia to understand that joke.
Like a joke.
Yeah. Do you want to take a quick break?
Show up.
A little short one.
A little tiny baby one.
Let's go.
So the story that I have for you today comes from...
Wait, you have to say, okay, Janey.
Okay, Janey. Okay, Janey.
All right, Max.
So the story that I have for you today comes from a collection of Celtic myths and legends, which is appropriately named Celtic Myths and Legends.
Oh, where's it from?
It's from the Celts.
Oh, okay.
It's written by Peter Beresford Ellis. Came out in 1999. The story that I'm going to share with you today was collected in the West Highlands by John Francis Campbell in Popular Tales of the West Highlands in 1860. This story is called The Princess of the Fomorii, or The Daughter of the King Under the Waves.
Okay.
A couple of things just as we're getting into this. This is specifically from Scotland, so a lot of this is Scots Gaelic, but there's a lot of crossover with other Celtic and Gaelic terms and mythologies and things like that. Just every single time I try and tell a story from Celtic tradition, it is such a bear to research because they have,
yeah,
pun intended, because they have a lot of stories about bears.
Oh.
But it's just, they have a lot of crossover. They have a lot of different continuities. It's kind of like trying to research a character from like a comic book who's been in like 8 different series. And in some of them, they're the bad guy. And in some of them, they're the good guy. And in some of them, they're actually their own evil twin and stuff like that. Like it's a lot of that kind of stuff, which is very confusing. And also because of the way that Scots Gaelic, Irish Gaelic terms are anglicized, there are a bunch of different spellings for the same thing. So this story is about the Fanes, which is either usually F-E... I can't spell. It's usually either
Devilments only for you.
It's either F-E-A-N-S or F-E-I-N-N-S. So as I'm doing research and stuff like that, it's really hard to find stuff like that. But the Fanes are this group of highborn warriors who travel around and do heroic deeds, basically. This is in the Fenian period, which comes from the Fanes in Celtic mythology. So major players that you need to know in the Fenian cycle and everything. We have Finn McCool.
I love Finn McCool.
Yes.
F-I-O-N-N, is that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's the leader of the Fanes.
Okay.
He is one of the main players in this story. He is like a hero king kind of that leads this roving band of heroes. In this story, he's called Fingal, which is like a different version of his name, but it's the same guy.
Is Finn McCool the father of Oisin?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, and I'm thinking the same person. It is F-I-O-N-N.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, there are like 8 different spellings for every single thing, and also all of them are in Gaelic. Either Irish Gaelic or Scots Gaelic, which have been Anglicized different ways. So there are like 8 different spellings for every single person in this. And also some of them have like 3 names. Yeah. There's one guy who had one name that was used for most of the stories that he's in, but then he got his eye poked out. So he only had one eye. So the rest of the stories he's in, he's called One Eye with no other reference to his name. It's confusing.
And also rude.
Yeah. So that's just kind of intro. The Scots Gaelic tradition, Scotland in Scots Gaelic is called Alba. And, the Fomorii, the princess of the Fomorii is what this story is called. The Fomorii are merfolk. They live under the sea. Sometimes they're depicted as being like literal mermaids with like fish's tails and things like that. Sometimes they are just people who live under the sea. A lot of times they are the bad guys who are, forces of the ocean that prevent sailors from getting to where they're trying to go and everything like that. This story is interesting because they are not the antagonists in it.
Okay.
But so that's just kind of a big, broad strokes intro to what I'm going to be talking about.
How exciting.
So our story begins. The Fanes are returning from helping the king of the Western Isles. And on their path back, they are sailing and they have to go through the Red Cataract, which is an area of super choppy water that is just dangerous, in part because of the Fomorians and in part just because it is dangerous to travel. They're going through and the water is so still. Like usually this is very choppy, like lots of rocks and everything like that. And it's suddenly so still as to be like crystal, right? And they're like, this is suspicious.
Yeah, unnerving.
But they're like looking down into the water. They can see the salmon resting on the bottom of the ocean and everything like that because the water is so clear. And then all of the Fanes on the ship kind of blink and suddenly they're able to kind of see in the water a kingdom. the kingdom of the Fomorians, where they can see these beautiful like kelp forests and everything like that.
Max, I feel like this could be on your your bingo card.
Can't stop. Will not stop.
How many kingdoms under the sea are you gonna take us to? All of them?
I think we're up to 4 now.
Yeah.
4 or 5. Yeah.
How do you keep finding these?
I don't know. I don't know how this happened. Yeah, but there's like the kelp forests and everything. You can see like the Fomorians down, like walking along the seafloor and everything like that. And so on top of the water in these ships, the Fanes are looking down and they can see to the land of the Fomorians, which is usually obscured from being seen above the water. But as they're looking down, they see like the Fomorians below start looking up and like looking at them, and they're like, "Hi!" And then they see a rowboat down at the bottom by the Fomorians, and they see someone is rowing it up towards the surface. And as the boat gets closer, they see that there is a beautiful, beautiful woman rowing the boat. She's very strong.
Yeah, she's buff as hell.
She's very strong. She's rowing the boat up towards the surface of the water. And she gets up and she like bobs up onto the surface like a cork. And she is gorgeous. She's the most beautiful woman that many of these men have ever seen.
Yeah.
She has kind of a sad look about her, but in like a hot way.
I mean, sad girls.
Yeah, sad strong,
girls.
Hot girls.
It's a sad girl summer.
Sad girl summer. And she greets them and she says, "I'm so glad that I found you. I've been looking for you for so long." And Finn McCool, who's on this ship, Fingal, he's like, "Well, you found us." Important to remember that this this is a grandpa. Aww. He's like a mighty warrior, but he's very old at this point. And he's like, "Well, you found us. What can we do for you?" And she says, "Well, I am Mergen. I am the princess of the Fomorii, the dweller."
Mergen!
Yes. Mergen.
I'm like Morgan, but I'm a mermaid.
Yes.
A Mergen?
Yes. You joke, but yes.
That's it. That's the one.
If you look up, so they mention in the story, the etymology of Mergen means born of the sea. So literally a Morgan.
Okay, hold on.
Mergen.
Trying to think of where I was conceived. Never mind. Seattlegan.
I was gonna say like
bathroomgan. No.
Yeah. Toyotagan.
Backseat of a Priusgan.
That's hilarious because nobody's ever been conceived in the backseat of a Prius. Prius owners don't fuck.
Fuck.
Get fucked, Prius owners.
They can't.
They can't. Also, that's a dumb... I don't actually believe that. Very sorry to all Prius owners. So she says, "I'm Mergen. I'm the princess of the Fomorians, the dwellers under the sea." And Fingal is like, "Great. Nice to meet you. I'm Fingal. These are my Fanes. We're on this ship. What do you need?" And she explains that she's been looking for him because her father promised her hand in marriage to the Dark Lord.
The Shadow.
And he's, believe it or not, bad.
No! Have we stumbled onto a theme?
I think we may have. There are a lot of weird parallels between these stories.
Amazing.
She is promised to the Dark Lord. Different translations call him the Dark Prince of Storm.
I love him, and also...
No, you don't.
Yes.
He's the son of the... Just so you guys know, I'm going to try and pronounce things. Mostly just because I think it's going to be funny.
Seattle.
Seatle?
Beetle.
The Tiernavan of the Scatharuth.
Tiramisu of Baton Rouge.
Did you know that tiramisu means "carry me to heaven"?
Oh, God. Oh, that's sinister. I did not know that.
Oh, what are they called?
The French.
What? Mama Shiba.
Oh.
Mama Shiba are these little Japanese dogs that look like beans, and they tell you facts. Mama Shiba. That's where I learned that. Look up Mama Shiba. A little dog
that looks like a bean told you that?
Yeah, it's a pun in Japanese, because mame comes from edamame, but also Mishiba or something like that is like a dog.
Yeah.
So it's a bean dog, literally, who tells you facts.
Oh my God.
Look up Mama Shiba.
All right.
I learned that fact from a bean dog.
Is that a pun?
Yes.
I don't think beandog is a pun?
It's like they combined the words, and also like Mama Shiba sounds like the word for teacher or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't speak Japanese, believe it or not.
What?
So he is the son of the Tianavan of the Shkatharuth, who is the White King of Red Shields.
Okay.
A white man.
A white man?
No! That's from New Girl. And she says, like, I've been promised to this Dark Prince of Storms, and I defied my father. I defied the White King also to be like, hey, I'm not going to do that. And then I ran away, and I told them Finn McCool is going to save me. And now here I am. Please save me.
My boyfriend's a badass, and he's going to kick your ass.
She's like, I know that there's only one person in the world who could save me, and you're like the greatest hero that ever was. So will you and your Fanes please, like, save me? He's following me now. He could be here any second, and I need your help.
Aw.
And then Fingal's grandson, Oscar.
Oscar!
Who is a very hot young lad.
Sure. He's a golden retriever.
Yeah. Fingal starts to say, like, oh yeah, of course. And Oscar, like, runs to the front of the crowd and is like, I mean, even if he wasn't here, we would help you because we're the Fanes and we're really good and we would definitely help you. And that guy should be scared because we're going to protect you so good.
Oscar is actually...
Hi, I'm Oscar.
Oscar is on a different boat and he manages to get to theirs by pole vaulting off his giant erection. He uses it like a pogo stick and he just jumps to their boat. Hello, I'm Oscar. Boing, 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 boing.
I would help you no matter what. No matter what.
No matter what.
And as Oscar's being like, that guy should be scared because we're really cool and strong, and especially me, and I would help you. I mean, we would help you. He's doing all this, and a dark shadow falls over the boat. The sky goes dark. And the Dark Lord appears on the horizon with a massive dark cloud, and he rides across the surface of the ocean towards them. He is all in silver and steel plate, riding a white horse, and everywhere that he goes, this black mist rises, and lightning flashes, and the sea churns, and he brings this massive storm along behind him.
You're supposed to tell me she's about to pick Oscar over this absolute unit of a Dark Lord. I object. Oscar has passed out from how much blood has gone to his erection. I refuse.
So this huge warrior of storms rides across the ocean at an unbelievable speed, at the speed of the wind whipping across the waves as froth begins and a hurricane starts. He thunders towards them, quite literally. And they're still in their boat. The princess is in her little rowboat, and the waves of his approach push them to shore. And they would be capsized if not for the sailing skill of the Fanes, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But they are pushed into the shore, and they pull their ship up and beach, and then immediately he's about to reach them, and so they all prepare for battle. So the princess is also on the shore, and she's like, he's here, please protect me, you have to protect me, please promise you'll protect me. And Fingal is like, yeah, we've got you, you'll be fine. And Oscar, who was briefly distracted by almost dying, runs up and is like, yeah, of course we will. Of course we'll protect you. We will protect you no matter what. And this warrior, like, his horse lands on the sand in like a spray of sand and everything, and the warrior dismounts with a thunderous quaking thud. And Oscar runs up and is like, pulls out his sword and is like, nah.
The fucking unearned confidence of a white man named Oscar.
And the Dark Lord, he says, move aside, balach, which means boy. He's like, get out of my way, boy.
Yeah.
And Oscar says, defend yourself from this boy, lauschbach, which means gelded he-goat. You castrated goat. So he's like, defend yourself from this boy. And he hurls a spear at the Dark Lord.
I am hashtag Team Dark Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Dark Lord, barely even moving, catches the spear on his shield.
Oh, yes, he does.
On his silver shield, and it splits in half, the spear.
Yeah.
And he, like, walks towards the princess, barely even noticing that someone just threw a spear at him.
Squish!
And he says, I have come for you, not to fight with boys.
Yeah.
And Oscar is like, well. And he takes out another spear, and this time he throws the spear and he aims for the warrior's horse. Mm-hmm. And it, very sad, guys, it spears the horse through the heart, killing the horse instantly. And the Dark Lord sees this and is like, hey, that horse was my best friend, you bitch.
Oh, and we're supposed to root for Oscar.
This is a note in the story that made me laugh my fucking ass off. Ocean, the bard of the Fanes, who you already said is the son of Finn McCool. Mm-hmm. He is like a mythic bard, basically. Quote, immediately composed a song about this mighty deed of slaying the horse. And some say it may still be heard sung in the remote places and islands of Scotland where the language of the children of the Gael has not yet been entirely cast out by the language of the Gaul, which is just as a little aside, they're like, anyway, so he immediately composed a super banger about it. Everyone still loves this song, and also fuck colonizers. Just as like a little note.
Hold on, there are words after this, guys.
So now the Dark Lord, his proper title being Tierna Duv, he is angered by the slaying of his best friend who is a horse.
Yeah.
And he calls for 50 Fanes to face him in battle. And he says, if you do not accept my challenge, then you must all be weaklings who should still be supping their mother's milk.
Yeah.
He's like, fight me or you a bitch. So
that's how I get my kindergartners to stop playing around on the carpet. Okay, if you don't stop playing around, then you're just a bunch of babies.
It's true. They're still babies either way.
They are just a bunch of babies. Oh, the little babies, I miss them.
You've been off work for 2 days. You're not allowed to miss them.
I know, but I miss them.
Stop.
Go ahead.
So a huge battle ensues, right? The Dark Lord is taking on 50 Thanes, just absolutely like tossing them around like ragdoll.
Breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
There's my boy.
Until at last, one of Fingal's greatest warriors, Gol, approaches the Dark Lord, and this is like one of the greatest warriors that there ever was. And the two lock eyes and immediately begin dueling with their swords. And the duel is so mighty and it lasts for so long. Blood stains the sand from both sides. It lasts all day until right before sunset, when for the briefest moment, the Dark Lord, exhausted, drops his guard, and Gol, with a lightning fast strike, immediately slays him.
Oh, no!
Rip.
He's with his horse now. That's what he would have wanted.
As the Dark Lord falls to the sand, the storm that has been raging offshore dissipates and ends. Princess Mergen says to them, thank you so much. You've saved me from my terrible fiance. I grant you safe passage home as a way of saying thank you for saving me. But one thing before I go.
Sure. I
need you all to promise me that if I ever need any help again, you'll come and help me.
No!
What? Like, what?
That's not how this works, Mergen.
It's like, thank you so much for your help. And also, you have to keep doing this forever, and you have to promise.
No!
But all of them are like, yeah, absolutely. We will definitely help you. That was a rad battle. We had a great time.
Thanks you for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us. That's the coolest guy we've ever fought. Thank you so much. We'll, stay safe. Bye. And then she rows off in her little rowboat.
Wait, what about Oscar?
I think it doesn't say.
I love that she's not with Oscar. Love that she's not with Oscar at the end of this.
No, not at all.
Fuck that guy.
A year and a day later, the Fanes are once again crossing the Red Cataract on their way back from a separate adventure. And they look out over the water, and once again, this very still water, they see a rowboat approaching their battleship. And Oscar is like, maybe it's the princess. That's not me riffing. That's in the story. He's like, ooh, I wonder if it's the princess. Do you think she missed me?
The way that you're saying this, I don't know if you guys might not watch Letterkenny, but the way that you say this, I'm imagining Oscar as Derry from Letterkenny. Mm-hmm. And that's just who it is.
100%.
Maybe it's the princess. Maybe it's MerBecca. Coming up here to give me a smooch.
He's like, maybe she missed me. Maybe she's coming back because she was thinking about me. Maybe, I don't know. Like, we should just, like, maybe also row towards her so that we can see her sooner. Maybe. What do you think?
Samantha.
Samantha. And quickly, Fingala's like, sorry, buddy, that's not the princess. As the rowboat comes closer, they see that there's a young man in the boat. And he rows his rowboat up until it's right next to their battleship.
Hi, I'm Timothy.
My name is Mervyn.
I'm Merkin.
Merton.
And everybody fell deeply in love.
It's Elmer.
It's Elmer.
So this young man pulls up in his rowboat next to them, and they're like, hi, what's up? How can we help you? And he is like, I'm a messenger. I was sent by the people of the Fomorians. Mm-hmm. The princess sent me, Princess Morgan is dying.
It's only been a year.
She's dying. Don't ask questions. The Fanes, as is tradition, immediately all cry out in sorrow and scream and wail at this terrible news. And then Finn McCool is like, hey, psh, psh, and like silences them all. Grown-ups are talking.
Yes.
And he says, well, this is terrible news. Is she really so ill? And the messenger says, she's near death, but she bid me to remind you of your promise that you would help her no matter, after you helped her, and then you were kind of required to continue helping her forever, anytime.
Penicillin. Penicillin. That's what she needs.
Yeah. So the messenger is like, she wanted me to remind you of your promise. We know that there is a healer among the Fanes named Diarmid Leha? I wrote down the pronunciation and I can't read that either.
Seattle.
Diarmid Leha, who may be able to heal her. And what this Leha is a Scots Gaelic term that literally means like a physician or a healer. So they're like, we heard you got a Dr. Diarmid over there. And he's the only person who has the skill to heal the princess. Okay. So we would like to borrow Dr. Diarmid. A murmur goes over the people on the boat, and Diarmid steps forth to speak to the messenger. He is the handsomest of the Fanes.
Yeah, he is.
He's even handsomer than Oscar, who is super handsome.
He's Leonardo of the Ninja Turtles. He's the smart one. And the hot one, if you believe Janey's elementary school diary.
So Diarmid steps forth. He's incredibly handsome. In a previous adventure, he had, how do I put this? Fucked a witch. And she was like, hey, Diarmid, you fucked me so good that I'm going to give you a blessing. And she gives him a freckle on his face that makes women fall in love with him.
Just one freckle?
Only one.
Wait, hold on. That's a curse. Every woman just has to fall in love with him? I bet his friends hate him.
It's called his love spot.
Ooh.
And he's sometimes
like, nobody look at my G-spot. He wears a hat.
It's just a prostate on his face.
Ew.
He is sometimes called Diarmid the healer, or Diarmid the medic, or Diarmid of the love spot, because he's
Diarmid really said, I know a spot.
He really did. He's like, hey, do you need a spot to sit?
Oh. That flustered me.
So Diarmid is super hot, and he's a doctor.
The doctor? Come on.
And before Fingal, before Fingal, Fimacool can even like turn around and be like, "Hey, Diarmid, can you help him out?" Diarmid is already in this little rowboat. He's like, "Yeah, all right, I'm on it. We're gonna take care of her. I'll be right back. Goodbye." So Diarmid sets off with the messenger, and the messenger rows them to this sea cave, which is the entrance to the land of the Fomorians. Mm-hmm. On the way, they pass this island that is covered in red sphagnum moss, like red reindeer moss. And Diarmid, being a fantastic healer, knows that in some cases this red moss can have healing properties.
Sure.
So as they're going by, he leans out of the boat and snags like 3 handfuls of this red moss to bring with him. He's like, this could be useful. We're already here. Why not?
Sure.
Which is pretty clever of him, I think.
Yeah, that's not bad.
They finally arrive at this castle. Big, beautiful golden castle under the sea that is, it has these silver rivers that run alongside it. And the shores of these rivers of silver underwater are like all jewels and everything like that. The sand is just jewels. Mm. He arrives at the castle, and without even speaking, the king and the queen know immediately who he is. The queen takes him by the hand and leads him up to her daughter's room. The Princess Mergen is laying in her bed as still as death. She is pale. She is not moving. Diarmid comes up and kneels beside the bed and puts his hand on her forehead and uses his psychic powers, I guess, to infuse her with healing. And she immediately becomes well enough that she can wake up, open her eyes and everything. So she wakes up and she sees him.
And just starts shoving handfuls of moss down her throat.
Here, eat this. Eat it quick, She says, "Oh, Dr. Diarmid, I'm so glad you could come see me." I was like, "Oh, what is aleja? Like, what does that mean?" And I like looked it up, and they were like, "Doctor," and I was like, "This is gonna be fucking gold." Dr. Diarmid, MD.
This is actually, little known fact, this is the inspiration that Shonda Rhimes needed to write Grey's Anatomy.
Diarmid's Anatomy.
McDiarmid.
So she wakes up and she sees him and she's like, "Dr. Diarmid, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. I feel better, but I'm not cured. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I know that I'm still going to die." Like that I hoped, but not enough. Dr. Diarmid is like, "Yes, I know. The moment that I touched your forehead, I knew exactly what illness afflicted you, and I know exactly how to cure it.
Penicillin.
Fortunately, while I was on the way here, I picked up exactly the moss that you needed to fight off this deadly illness."
Smart. Smart.
And the princess is like, "Oh my god, that's amazing news." And he's like, "Here's what we're gonna do. I am going to take these 3 clumps of red moss and I'm going to put them in healing water, and then you're going to drink the 3 drops of healing water with the red moss in it." And
it's a lot more gentle than the previous time.
And the princess is like, "Ooh, that's not gonna work for me." And he's like, "I'm your doctor, and yes, it is." And she's like, "No, see, the thing is I took a vow not to drink anything except out of this one special cup." And he's like, "You did what?" She's like, "Listen, I took a vow that I would only ever drink anything out of the cup of healing, which is held by King Ian of the Plains of Wonder, and he will never give up the cup, and..."
Why did she take that vow?
I don't know.
If she didn't have the cup in her possession, she's dying of dehydration?
She's like, "Well, that's the only thing I can drink from. So even if you give me like a healing potion, it'll just make me worse unless it's in that cup." And he's like, "Well, so how do I get that cup?" And she's like, You can't possibly. He'll never give it up."
Well, then what was the point of waking you up?
And Diarmid is like, "Okay, listen, I'm literally the best healer that there is in the world besides the god of healing. Like, he was like, hey man, you're in second place, but only by a little. And I've never heard of this cup of healing, so I'm not sure where you're getting your information from." And she's like, "Oh, well, see, here's the thing. I was talking to this druid like a long time ago, and they were like, if you ever get so sick that you have to drink 3 drops of from the red moss of life, then the only thing you can drink it from is the cup of healing and the water that the cup of healing already contains, which is healing water, or else you'll die." So that's how I know.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty concrete.
Pretty convenient.
You really can't argue with that.
A druid told me. And that's better than medical advice. Sometimes it is.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. It is.
Okay, garlic ears. Like, I was like, are you really going to fight me on this?
No, my grandma would just straight up shove garlic into our ears for anything.
For any kind of illness. So Dearman is like, all right, well, you know, I took my Hippocratic oath. He didn't. That wasn't a thing.
Okay.
But he's like, I have to cure you, and I will not let anything stop me from doing that. So I am going to go and get this cup of healing so that I can make you better. And the princess is like, oh my God, that's so good. Thank you so much.
That's so nice of you.
Yeah. And he's like, so where are these plains of wonder that I have to go all the way across to get this stupid cup from? And she's like, oh, they're just like next door, like to the west. You just have to go like west, and then you'll get to a river, and then you cross the river, except that it's impossible to cross the river. But once you get across it, then you can walk across the plains of wonder, and then you'll get to King Ian, and he will have the cup that you can't have.
King Ian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a little boy's name.
It's not.
It's a little boy.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah. You can't just call him Ian. You have to call him
Yeah,
Sir
you can't.
Ian
You have to call him Sir Ian.
Okay, go ahead.
So Diarmid leaves. All of the courtiers offer to join him and everything, and he's like, no, I have to do this alone. And so he sets off towards the west and the Silver River and the lands of King Ian. He's traveling, and he gets to this river of silver along the ocean floor. And he's like, great, now I just have to cross this river. And he looks, and he can't find a place that it's narrow enough to like ford across or anything like that. There aren't any bridges or boats or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, nuts. It is impossible to cross. She told me that, and I didn't believe her. But now that I've seen it for myself, maybe it is impossible. And he sits down next to the river, and he puts his head in his hands, and he's
cries
like,
and cries and cries.
He cries and cries and cries, and he's like, oh, Diarmid, you dum-dum. And then...
Your mother was right, Diarmid. She was right. You're just a dumb boy.
You're the dumbest doctor in town.
You'll never be as smart as your other brother, Dr. Dormant.
Dr. Dermot Mulroney.
Dr. Dermot Mulroney. You'll never be as good, Dermot Mulroney. Wow, I can't remember any of their names. Dylan McDermott.
Mm-hmm. He hears a voice behind him very suddenly that says, Diarmid, you are in a mighty pickle.
Oh no! Get him out!
That's what it says in this translation. They say, you are in a mighty pickle. I was like, I don't think that's what they said.
I'm going to
the original
say
Scots
that.
Gaelic.
No, they didn't say that.
Diarmid looks up and he sees a tiny man dressed all in brown. And he's like, hey, yeah, I am in trouble. Also, how do you know my name? Don't worry about it. Never mind. Mm-mm. I don't care, actually. And the tiny man says, so you're trying to cross this river, huh? And Diarmid's like, yeah, I am. And the little man is like, well, what would you give to someone who helped you across?
Your firstborn child?
Maybe some kind of reward.
Guess my name?
And Diarmid is like, listen, I'm trying to save this woman's life. I will give anything, like, to get across this river so that I can save her, basically.
Mm-hmm. He's terrible at negotiation.
Yeah. And the little man's like, great, okay, cool. That's good enough for me. And he's like, well, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
And he's like, just your goodwill.
No.
That's all I want from you. And Diarmid is like, well, you already have that for, offering to help. So gladly you have my goodwill. And the little man's like, great, so jump on my back. And Diarmid they make a point to say over 6 feet tall.
Hot.
And the little man dressed all in brown is about a foot tall. And so Diarmid looks at him and looks at the water and looks back at the little man and is like, I don't think that's gonna work. And he's like, no, just trust me, bro. Just trust me. Jump on my back. And Stuart's like, okay. And so he climbs up on this tiny man's back, and he finds that magically, as he gets on his back, the back becomes wide enough that it's comfortable for him to sit on. And this little man dressed all in brown walks across the surface of the river, which is, it's a wide river. It's like a mile wide. So it takes a little while for them to get across. Diarmid is sitting on this man's back, and they pass by this island that is all shrouded in black mist and darkness, and the sun doesn't seem to shine on this island or anything like that. And Diarmid's like, hey, what's that?
Wait, and next to them, there's a second pair of footprints, and it's Jesus, but Jesus isn't the one giving him a piggyback because it's this little man.
Basically. He's like, hey, what's that? And the little man all in brown is like, oh, that's the island of death.
Oh.
So, you know, it has a magic spring, a well of healing water right in the middle of it. But also if you set foot on it, then you die immediately.
What a conundrum.
Anyways. And Dermot's like, yeah, that's not where we're going. So I guess I didn't really need to know that. And they keep going. And they reach the opposite shore of the river. And Dermot is like, thank you so much for your help. Are you sure that there's nothing I can give you in thanks? And he's like I said, just your goodwill. That's all I need. And Dermot's like, okay, well, absolutely. And thank you so much for your help. And the little man all in brown is like, hey, anytime, bro. And he like tips his hat and disappears. Dermot walks across the Plains of Wonder until finally he reaches a beautiful silver castle with spires topped with crystals and everything. Mm-hmm. And he walks up to the gate and he bangs on the gate of this castle and he says, hello, it's Dr. Dermot. Let me in. And a voice comes from the other side of the door that says, it is forbidden.
No, not allowed.
And Dermot says, who forbids it? And the voice says, me, I'm the guardian of the gate.
Ah.
I have one job.
I take it very seriously.
And so Dermot's like, well, let me in though. And the doors open and this huge warrior dressed all in red plate metal emerges and he says, no, and you're not coming in, and that's final. And then he draws his sword and starts to attack Dermot. The two of them fight, but Dermot, while a healer, is still a Fane, and he is still one of the greatest warriors to ever live.
Hot.
It is a short battle. Mm-hmm. Dermot takes down this Red Lord, is what he's called, kills him pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then, hearing the sounds of combat by the gates, King Ian comes out of the castle and comes to see, just in time, to see Dermot strike the killing blow on the Red Lord. Mm-hmm. And he says, hi, why did you kill that guy? He was like my best knight. And Dermot's like, well, I needed to come in and he wouldn't let me. And the king's like, oh, I know you. Aren't you Dr. Dermot from the TV?
It's Dr. Dermot, MD.
And he's like, listen, I've heard of you. You would have been welcome. I'm sorry that guy was being an asshole. I mean, you probably didn't have to kill him, and I'm super bummed out that you did, but like, you're welcome. Come on in. And Dermot is like, well, you know, he hatches a plan in this moment where he's like, I already know this guy's going to be difficult about giving me the cup of healing. So what if I did a ruse about it?
Ooh.
So he says, well, I heard, a little birdie told me, that you have a cup of healing in your castle. If, I don't know, maybe you were to go get it, then I could bring him back to life and you wouldn't even have to lose your best guy.
Oh.
And King Ian thinks for a second. He's like, yeah, I don't want to lose my best guy, so sure, yeah. He sends someone to fetch the cup of healing from inside of the castle and he hands it to Dermot. He's like, there is no virtue in this cup unless it is in the hands of healer. Oh. So he's like, I couldn't do this myself to heal him. It has to be a healer giving him the thing. So, you know, plot hole closed.
Nice. Okay.
And Dermot takes the cup and pours the 3 drops of water in it into the Red Lord's mouth. Very quickly, the Red Lord springs up from where he lay dead, and all of his wounds have healed. And he's like, whoa, what? What? Where?
Everything's so
Where
right.
I
had a dream, and you were there, and you were there.
And you fucking killed me. What the fuck?
What a terrible dream it was.
And King Ian is like, well, thank you so much for saving him. How can we ever repay you? And Dermot's like, aha, I know how you can. I actually came here for this cup. So he says, I'm not leaving without the cup, which I'm bringing to save Princess Mergen. I can take it by gratitude or by force.
Oh.
He's like, okay. I already have it. Stop me if you can, or give me your blessing.
Be cool, man. Be cool.
And the king is like, well, I mean, of course that's fair, but I mean, it's useless now. And Dermot's like, what?
Oh no, he has to go get the fucking well.
That little nugget from earlier. That couldn't have been to set up something else.
No.
So he's like, well, you poured out the 3 drops of water that were in the cup, so now it's kind of useless. And Dermot's like, fuck. Shit. Oh, I fucked up. And he says, like, I'll still take it. And he's like kicking himself internally. He's like, that was dumb. Came this whole way. Why did I do that? God damn it. And he's like getting angry at himself.
My mom was right.
And King Ian is like, listen, man, I'm really sorry. I can give you a boat to get back across the river so that you, like, I don't know how you got here, but, you know, you can have a boat if you need one.
Aww.
And Dermot's so mad that he's like, I don't need a boat. I can do it myself.
No, that's not true, Dermot.
And the king is like, all right, well, then I guess I'll see you soon because you're gonna have to come back for a boat. That's in the story. Again,
oh my
not
God.
me riffing. So Dermot leaves. He crosses across the Plain of Wonder once again. He gets to the Silver River and he's like, all right, now time to really look for a ford, bridge, or boat. And looks and still doesn't find one. What? That's so crazy. So he sits by the shore of the river and is just like, Dermot, you're so stupid. Like, you were too prideful to accept help, and now you're going to have to go all the way back across the Plains of Wonder, ask the king for a boat, come back. Like, you, just because you fucked up once didn't mean you had to fuck up twice, you know? And so
I appreciate that the story, he's not a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
Constantly recognizing that he's an idiot.
He's like, that was fucking dumb. And then a voice behind him says, you are in a pickle again, Dermot.
Ah, get out of that pickle, Dermot.
And it's once again the tiny little man, all in brown. And he says, did you get the cup of healing? And Dermot's like, I did, but I wasn't thinking, and I used the 3 drops of healing water inside of it, so now it's useless. And also, I have no way to get back home. I'm stuck on this river. He says, I am twice defeated, where he's like, not only did I fail at my goal, but also failed at getting back home.
Yeah.
And the little man all in brown says, you may only have been defeated once. I can carry you back. And Dermot is like, I really can't ask that of you. Like, you already carried me once. Can I offer you anything as repayment for this? And the little man all in brown is like, I need no reward except your goodwill. And Dermot is like, okay then. And so he hops back up on the little man's back. They start back across the river, and then the Island of Death comes into view.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Old Island of Death. And the little man all in brown starts walking towards it. And Dermot's like, hey man, where are you going? And the little man's like, you came all this way to save the princess, right? And Dermot's like, yes, I did. And he's like, well, you need healing water to save the princess, right? And Dermot's like, yeah, I do, but I don't have any.
Oh, you dummy, you dumb dummy.
And the little man all in brown is like, do you remember what I told you before about the Island of Death? And Dermot's like, no.
I wasn't listening.
He's like, well, there's a well of healing water on it. And Dermot's like, great, let's go. And he's like, listen, I will carry you onto the Island of Death.
Yeah.
I will carry you to the well, and you will be able to dip your cup in and get the healing water. But you can't touch anything on the island, and you can't get off my back. It's like, you cannot get off my back or you will die. You will be stuck on the Island of Death and you will be dead. If you die in the island, you die in real life. And so Dermot's like, yeah, absolutely understood, heard. And so they go to the Island of Death, and the little man all in brown takes him up to the well. Dermot dips the cup in, takes his 3 drops of healing water, and then they walk back out to the river, and nothing bad happens.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Good. They listen to instructions.
Nice.
Proper communication. This is how every fairy tale should
honestly,
be.
every fairy tale should be exactly that.
Yeah. He's not like,
Warning.
ooh, I just need to rest my butt for a second. I'm just going to stand here, like, on the ground. No. He understands the importance of this, and he acts appropriately.
Huh. Okay, go ahead.
So the little man all in brown walks him the rest of the way across the river and, back to the other side. And Dermot says, thank you so much. Are you really, really sure that there's nothing I can do for you? And the little man all in brown is like, I'm going to level with you. He's like, your only intention is goodwill. You're doing this to help someone else. And he says, men who do goodwill ever find friends in any land.
Okay.
So he's basically like, listen, because you're doing a good deed, I'm doing a good deed for you. I'm not trying to prank you. I just want your goodwill,
Nice.
And he says, but I'm going to give you a little bit of advice, right? And Dermot's like, you've already helped me so much. I don't know, like, why you would give me advice. I appreciate it, but you don't have to. And the little man's like, no, man, you're good. Like, you're good people. I'm going to help you out. The king of the Fomorians is going to offer you a lot of rewards. Basically, any reward that you want for helping his princess when you save her. Don't take any of them. Just ask for a ship to bring you home. That's the only thing you should ask for.
Okay.
And Dermot's like, well, that's fair because I don't do this for the money or the glory. I just do it to help people.
Sure.
You know? So, really her being safe is its own reward.
Oh my God.
And the guy's like, listen, I know you're telling the truth, but you're being really preachy.
Hey, I'm kind of short, so if you can get off your soapbox.
I don't know why you needed me when you had that high horse. So Dermot returns to the land of the Fomorians. He goes into the castle and goes up to the princess's room. Her mother and father are sitting at either side of her bed. He left them with a certain amount of medicine to keep her alive so that she wouldn't die while he was gone, but it wasn't going to make her better.
She's chewing on moss.
Yeah. So she is laying in bed as she was before, looking close to death and everything. And he makes the healing potion. He takes the red moss in the cup of healing with the healing water and everything. And he pours the 3 drops into the princess's mouth. And she comes back to life,
nice.
As happy and healthy as ever before. The kingdom rejoices. Their princess has been saved and everything. They have a huge feast. And the king of the Fomorians is sitting next to Dermot at one of these big celebratory feasts. And he's like, obviously, you've earned a reward. I will give you literally anything that is in my power to give. Like, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for us. And Dermot is like,
no,
I really appreciate it, but I kind of don't need a reward. And the king is like, listen, I mean literally anything. I don't know if you think that I'm exaggerating, but I mean, you can have gold, you can have silver, you can marry my daughter and have half of my kingdom. Yeah. Like if you ask for that, you can have it. And Dermot is like, listen, thank you so much. That's very nice of you. But I could never love your daughter as much as I love my homeland and the Fanes.
Okay.
I just love them so dang much. So really all I would like is a boat to get back home because that's all I need.
Yeah.
And so he prepares to leave and everything. Princess Merrigan is like, I'll never forget you. You saved my life. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's her smooching
like,
him.
see you later, Melissa.
And the same boat with the messenger comes down to fetch him, and they sail back up to where he left the Fanes. And as they surface, he sees that their ship is still on the shore and everything, and all of the Fanes are looking out over the water. And when they see him, they have a concerned expression that passes over their face. And he gets closer to shore, and they're like, "Did you forget something? Like, what? You have to hurry up and go help the princess." And he's like,
no time had passed.
Yeah. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You just left like 6 seconds ago. Like, do you need like a nurse or something to come with? Like, what?"
Oscar's like, "I volunteer!" Pole vaults on his massive erection.
And Dermot's like, "Oh, don't worry, guys. Time works differently there, I guess. So she's already saved, already handled it. Y'all can chill. And we're all done here." Anyways, yeah, so I saved her and all good. That's the end of the story.
Wait, so why couldn't he accept any of the gifts? That's never...
we don't know because he doesn't accept any of the gifts. He takes the advice.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That is unprecedented.
I know. I love that he's not a dumb fairy tale protagonist.
Yes.
Like, a little magical man is like, don't take any of these gifts, no matter how good they are. And he's like, okay.
But those specific tropes are only saved for women. He's not curious enough to ask for a gift, you know?
There are a lot of stories of like male heroes and stuff like that being like, ooh, like I said I wouldn't like marry the princess of the sea or whatever, but she's really pretty, so
those idiots.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of like Pandora and Psyche and Persephone's box and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. It is established as he's talking to the king. I didn't mention this, sorry. The king does say like, "Hey, if you marry my princess, you have to stay here and you can't go home." Is like the, kind of the catch, but also, I mean, I kind of assumed.
You kind of assumed that he'd be swept.
Yeah. So that's the end of that story. That is the Princess of the Fomorians. Other Celtic mythology, Dermot is a recurring character. He is the figure of like the warrior healer, kind of. He's a big deal. When you look for Dermot, the main thing that comes up is a story where Finn McCool's wife passed away. And so his men were like, we have to find you a new wife.
Mm-hmm.
And they find this woman who they determine is like the most suited for Finn McCool, and her name's Grania.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you have to, you guys are going to get married. And so Finn McCool goes to marry her. And she's like, you're fucking old. You're older than my dad. And I don't want to be with you.
Good.
And meanwhile, Dermot is in Finn McCool's like entourage, and they fall madly in love. And then the night before her wedding to Finn McCool, they run away together. And Finn McCool chases them across the land and everything.
They're bros.
Yeah. So Dermot and Grania, like, they take refuge in various castles across the land trying to escape from Finn McCool. And
he's hot. He's hot. This is a hottie.
Yeah, until finally Dermot and Finn like come to an understanding. And I think Dermot still gets murdered, and it's a little bit Finn's fault at some point, but he does get to be with Grania. Now, Janey, if that story sounds familiar to you, it's because it's in the film Leap Year.
It is Grania. That's
Grania
the
and
name.
Dermot. Yeah. I linked to a YouTube clip of that section of the movie Leap Year, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's so fucking dumb.
It is literally her favorite movie of all time.
It's like, so good.
We watched it a couple months ago.
It is deeply problematic and an amazing time. But yeah, the story of Dermot and Grania is told in that movie. So I linked to that YouTube clip. Anyways, that's just fun little guy.
That's a fun little guy. That was epic. That was literally epic.
It literally, I love that story so much.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that Dermot. Oscar doesn't get any storyline. That's my favorite part of this.
I know. Oscar is also, he's the son of O'Shane. Like, he's the son of the greatest warrior, the grandson of the greatest warrior of all time, the son of the greatest warrior bard of all time.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I love you. You're beautiful. I'll help you. And doesn't get the girl because he is useless.
Don't you love, though? He kind of reminds me of every, like, Anthony Michael Hall character in every John Hughes movie. Like,
yeah, he's got real ducky energy.
He does, which is not Anthony Michael Hall, but is the same character.
Yes. Yeah.
I only had to mention that because I know for a fact we're going to get a comment on something that's like,
Listen, if you try and fucking talk to me about
John Hughes
movies or Molly Ringwald movies, I will push your face in. I know all about them. Leave me alone.
Leave her alone, guys. God.
Stop asking me to tell you things about Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringworm. So now we get
no.
So Max and I are now going to head over to our good friend Lauren's house to watch the Christmas Prince movies. So I don't know, pray for us.
And if you've seen those movies, or if you've seen The Night Before Christmas or The Princess Switch, we've also seen those, and we would love to talk about them.
We watched all 3 of the Princess Switch movies back to back to back.
Yeah,
stayed up till like 5 o'clock in the morning to do it. Worth it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The third one's a heist movie.
Oh my god, it's just a heist movie. They're all in cat suits for some reason.
Yeah, the first 2 are like Hallmark romance movies, and then the third one is a heist movie, and Vanessa Hudgens is 3 people.
The only thing I want in this world is a 4th movie with another Vanessa Hudgens. With another terrible accent. God.
I want a 4th movie with a 4th and 5th Vanessa Hudgens who are twins.
Well, I said I want the 4th. Here's my pitch for the 4th movie. I already told Max, but I think the 4th movie should be that the boring prince whose wife hates him, I think it should be that he discovers he has a long-lost twin, and his long-lost twin is a bad boy who wears a motorcycle jacket and is, like, from New Jersey.
And then he marries both of the 4th and the 5th Vanessa Hudgenses who are twins.
You want him to leave Stacy? The baker from Chicago?
No, bad prince would marry both of the twins.
The beautiful bad prince. BBP. Okay, guys.
Bad boy PP.
If you liked this episode, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, but I only say Apple Podcasts because that's where you can also leave reviews, and we really like reading them.
And Google Podcasts as well, right?
Yeah. Anywhere you get podcasts, if you can review it, please take a second to do that. It would make us feel really good. I already put down, we're not going to be able to, this is after 2022 has already ended, but I put out on my live that I would like us to get to 50 reviews on Apple Podcasts, and right now we're at 46. So I think it's doable. But yeah, and if you want to hang out with us on the Discord, or hang out with us on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or any Goodreads, all of our links are on our website, www.swordofthestory.com. So
yeah,
go visit that.
Yeah.
And have a wonderful freaking day.
Yeah. Or else.
Or else. The shadow. Bye.
Bye. Janey, test.
I want to test to you. A meal to you as well. What was your favorite part of the Princess Switch?
I think my favorite part was... No, I know what my favorite part was.
What was it?
And a meow to you too.
And a meow to you as well. Max liked the boring prince so much.
He was so bad in the first 2 movies, and then in the third one, he became a character.
Well, he like really leaned into being so dumb. Like the second movie was his depression. Like it was a harrowing Christmas tale of a man on the brink of like just running out into the snow and letting Mother Nature take her. Yeah. Mother Nature take her.
Nature taker, attorney at law.
But yeah, so he was so boring, and then he was so depressed because his wife didn't want to fucking touch him. He was lonely. And Max loved him deeply.
Only in the third one.
No, you started loving him in the second one. You literally at one point said, "Never mind, I love him," and then never went back.
That's true. I liked all of his dumb hobbies.
He was so dumb. What dumb hobbies did he have?
Just hanging out.
Just making up things to do so his wife would think he was cool. That's part of a Christmas movie.
So good.
Yeah, okay.
Should I keep wearing these headphones?
You don't have to.